start this review by saying it's going to be a mixed bag. I don't really know what I thought of Him, the movie Him. I don't really know what I thought. There are some very, very good positives, some big positives. There are some wasted performances. It's not really horror. It's not really drama. It's not really thriller. It's not really comedy. I think it's trying to be all of the above. We're going to talk about Him. My name is Kevin Halden. This is Nerdly Presents Off the Reel. It's an off the reel review of the movie Him. I was quite excited to start off with that Marlon Wayans was in this, and it looked like Marlon Wayans was doing some serious acting, and this might be a moment for him to kind of break out and do something other than White Chicks or Scary Movie, and that's always good. I love seeing that for Marlon Wayans. If you remember Requiem for a Dream a good few years back, that was definitely not the Marlon Wayans movie that we always expect to see him in, so this was something I was excited to see, and I thought, yeah, it's going to be horror, it's going to be American football based, I'm interested to see how that looks, let's give it a go. So I gave it a go, and spoiler alert, I didn't love it. We're going to get into the plot of this movie, then we'll get into the cast and crew of this movie, then we'll get into what I did and didn't like about this movie, and finishing off with my Nerdly Presents Off the Reel review rating. And of course, you can go over to nerdly.co.uk, your favourite British website for all of your news, reviews, and exclusive interviews. Somebody over there may have also reviewed this movie as well, so get their opinion as well. But most of all, what I always try and say with these movies is just check it out. And with that, let's talk about director Justin Tipping's Him. And the plot, according to IMDb, which is something I like to do as of late, is a young athlete descends into a world of terror when he's invited to train with legendary champion whose charisma curdles into something darker. There's not really much else I can dive deeper into with that, but we're going to try a little bit. And we meet Cam. We meet Cam as a young child at the start of this movie. There is this American footballer who's like the Tom Brady of his day. He's like this amazing sports star who wins everything, is utterly fantastic. And Cam really looks up to Isaiah and wants to be Isaiah one day. Essentially wants to recreate the career that he's had and live up to his name. So when he's young, he's sitting watching this big game and you see Isaiah scoring a touchdown but kind of breaking his leg or breaking something anyway, and his dad's kind of like, that's what you have to do to win. You have to be willing to sacrifice yourself for the team, and that's kind of what Isaiah does. We realize that Isaiah is then out of action for a little while, but then he comes back and just gets better and better and better and better and becomes like the greatest of all time in the American football. When Cam is a little bit older, he becomes Tyriq Withers. That's the actor that's playing him, who recently I saw in the remake of I Know What You Did Last Summer. Not a great movie, but quite a good character and quite a good actor. So I was instantly piqued again. I was like, this could be really cool. I like Tyriq Withers. Let's see what he's doing here. And he's sort of like this new up-and-coming QB, and he's kind of coming through that, but then he has this accident. There's this scene where he's like on the American football pitch, and he's doing some training, and he's like throwing the ball, and then this mascot is behind him and like smacks him in the back of the head with a hammer, and he ends up having to have like surgery in the back of his head, and now that's going to cause issues for him. And that was like this weird thing to get us into the movie that is like explained but not really explained, and it's just a little bit weird, but you will get to know what the crack is by the end of the movie. You just have to put up with the fact that it's just something that happened to get the plot moving forward. He gets the call from Isaiah's people, Isaiah White's people, Marlon Wayans' people, that he wants him to come and do like a 1-week boot camp and see what he's all about and see if this team, the Saviors, which is like the big team of the movie, see if they want to be part of Cam's journey or have Cam be part of their journey. So he goes there, and what he doesn't realize is he's about to go through pretty much living hell. And I say living hell, I say it quite lightly because it's not really that bad. Yes, he has to put up with some weird ass shit that he's not used to, but if this is the weirdest it's going to get for you to get to that top echelon of like sports stardom, it ain't that weird. I kind of imagined there would be weirder shit than this going on, like people eating babies. And I'm not condoning that. I'm just saying, if you're going to be in the Illuminati and become a top sports star, surely that's the kind of thing you will be expected to do. So anyway, Cam goes there and he's working with Isaiah, obviously played by Marlon Wayans, and he realizes, holy shit, there's like next level stuff to this. I'm not going to go any further with the plot, but yeah, there are some scenes where he has to basically do some snaps, where he has to catch the football, turn around and throw it to the next guy, but he has to do it in a certain time, because if he doesn't do it in a certain time, then this other guy who's standing at the side, who's one of his teammates, is going to get pelted with an American football to the face. He's going to be forced to do things he doesn't really want to do along the way, and he's going to realize that it's kind of a little bit culty in a way. But yeah, let's get into the cast, because that is where this movie really, really thrives. And I think Justin Tipping knew that, because a lot of the story for me kind of doesn't make a great deal of sense. I'm kind of just watching it for the performances. One performance, by the way, absolutely took me by surprise. I was not expecting how good this guy was, but we'll talk about him in a second. First of all, Tyriq with us as Cam. He's fine. He's not doing anything like egregious. He's not being bad in the acting. Like, there's not really any wooden performance from him. He's just kind of being that guy that wants to be the next big thing. He's willing to give it all up, but when he realizes what he's actually going to have to give up, he's not so willing anymore and becomes a bit of a whiny little bitch. And that's kind of what the role needed. It's definitely what the film needs. Let's talk about Marlon Wayans as Isaiah White. Obviously, through the years, we have seen Marlon Wayans do lots and lots of movies, usually in the comedy field. Yes, as I mentioned earlier, Requiem for a Dream is a movie I absolutely love, and Marlon Wayans is great in it, not necessarily doing all-out comedy, and he is doing some quite scary drama. Well, in this movie, he's kind of just a bit of a dick. He's like, you are going to have to put everything out of your mind. Forget family, forget friends, forget all of that shit. If you're going to be part of this team, if you're going to be QB1 for the Saviors, you have to give your life to the Saviors. I thought Marlon Wayans was doing a brilliant job of this. He really sold the anger to me, and he really sold that I will fucking do whatever I have to do to be that guy, and I will do whatever I have to do to you so that you become that guy. He just wants Cam to be the next guy. If he can't be him for any longer, he wants Cam to be him. So there's this scene where Cam has to do like these things where people are coming running at him, and he has to take on some tackles, and then like we get to see it from Cam's perspective, looking out of the visor, which is all tinted and shit, and Marlon Wayans' face just comes right up to the visor, and his eyes are like this in the visor, and it's a really, really cool moment in the film, quite a tense moment in the film. It has to be a tense moment in the film. And I just genuinely think, like, Justin Tipping, when he was writing that moment, or when they were storyboarding that moment, he knew this was going to be the scene of the movie. This was going to be the scene-stealing part of the movie, and Marlon Wayans was going to nick the movie from underneath everybody in this moment. Again, Marlon Wayans is absolutely brilliant. Actress Julia Fox is in this movie, who I'm told is a bit of a thing. I don't know. I can't think of anything else that I've seen Julia Fox in before. She's totally fine in this movie. Kind of reminds me of Benedict Cumberbatch in Zoolander 2, which is not really what she was going for, I don't think, but she does kind of remind me of that role. Maybe it was what she was going for. But yeah, so Julia Fox is absolutely fine in the movie. That's totally fine. But now, so there is one character in this movie, an actor in this movie, I was not expecting to come out and nail this role. It's more of a supporting role. He doesn't do a massive great deal, but Jim Jeffries, Australian comedian Jim Jeffries, who I've watched a lot of his stand-up, I've seen a lot of his stuff. Turns out he's actually a really good actor. He has some of my favourite scenes in the movie, the most intriguing character of the movie by an absolute mile. So when Marlon Wayans is getting Cam to do all these things that do eventually hurt him and make him kind of like go discombobulated or whatnot, that is when Jim Jeffries as Marco comes along. He's kind of like the coach, the health coach, the doctor that's going to keep injecting him with this weird shit, but it keeps kind of telling him, you don't want to be here, get the hell out, without telling him specifically, although at a couple of moments he does tell him specifically. As much of a star turn as Marlon Brando is... Marlon Brando? No, not Marlon Brando. Marlon Wayans. As much of a star turn as Marlon Wayans is putting in, Jim Jeffries' little role is sensational. Scene stealing son of a bitch is what I will say. Now, what I did and didn't like, it's kind of hard because there's not a massive great deal that I loved about this movie. Okay, the cinematography's cool. The movie looks slick, it looks sleek, it has a really, really cool rap soundtrack to it that sort of like kicks in when it needs to and makes the American football segments, although there's not a lot of actual American football segments, it's mostly just practicing, makes those bits look really cool, it makes the horror look really cool. We get some really messy, gnarly imagery, but honestly, I think we were promised a bill of goods. We were sold a bill of goods that this was going to be absolutely horrific. And I've seen people say that this movie is horrific. The things he has to go through in this movie are horrific. I didn't see those moments. I didn't feel that way about this film at any time. Nothing in this movie felt horrific. It just felt weird. I think that's why Jordan Peele liked it, because that's kind of his niche, that's kind of his bag. He makes these horror movies that technically aren't horrors, they're just kind of social, political statements that he wants to get out to the world, and that's why I think he was into this movie, because this movie is trying to say something, it's trying to do something, but if you want to see a movie like this done way better, that's kind of doing the same thing almost. Robert De Niro's The Fan with Wesley Snipes, much, much, much better movie. Doesn't look as good as this movie, much better movie. The imagery in this film is like what I think they sold it on, and that's where we do get something I really did actually like. It's only 90 minutes long. It's like 96 minutes, an hour and 36 minutes long. That's fine for this movie. It did not have to be any longer. I think I've seen movies like this before that have just really padded out that runtime and I got bored to shit. I wasn't really bored with this movie. I also was kind of just disinterested though. I was kind of just watching it and it was fine and I knew I was probably going to do a review for it. So I might as well just do my review. I'll do my Nerdly Presents Off the Reel review rating now, and this film for me it's a straight down the middle. It's a 2.5 out of 5. I actually wanted to give this a 2, but you know what? There's enough in there. There's enough performance-wise that I can bump that up to a 2.5, and I can sit directly on the fence and say that performance-wise, this movie's pretty good. But actual movie, storyline, everything that's going on within the movie isn't great. It looks good, it sounds good, it is decent enough, it's a watchable film, but I don't think you're going to come out of it thinking any differently about anything. Justin Tipping, I'm sure, is a fantastic director, and we will see more stuff from this guy going forward. Tyriq Withers, I know we're going to see his face more and more over the years to come. Marlon Wayans, if he wants to keep moving down this serious route, I'm all for it. Like I say, there are moments in this movie that he's doing some serious acting and using those chops. However, sometimes it is kind of ruined by a little bit of comedic flair, but that's what you get with Marlon Wayans. That's who he is as an actor, and that's totally fine. That's his shtick. 2.5 out of 5. If you have seen him, please do hit me in the comments down below. Let me know what you thought of the movie. If you think I am wrong, let me know. If you think I'm half right, half wrong, let me know. If you think I'm all right, let me know. It's where we can continue the conversation down below. I'm not saying this is a bad movie. I'm just saying this movie wasn't really for me. It wasn't resonating with me, and while I like the performances, there's not really a likable character in this to root for. You don't even root for Cam, if you're honest. So even when you get to the end and you get that really gnarly kind of payoff moment for that character, at that point I kind of just didn't care and felt like I was watching another Purge movie. But yeah, do check out him. Go over to nerdly.co.uk, check out the website over there. I'm sure somebody over there has also written a review for it. They may have loved the movie. I've seen lots of people that genuinely love this movie. I just think for me, it's a bit shit. 2.5 out of 5 from me. And I'm going to go. But remember, if I don't see you in the cinema, I'll see you in the next review.